Yes, we're recording.
Alright.
Alright.
Yeah, send it.
What's the date today?
It's the 27th.
27th, right. 2 days after Christmas. 2019. Alex is going back to base tomorrow.
Yeah.
I take
6 a.m.
Gonna take him to Logan Airport
We
and off
actually
he
get early
goes.
than that.
So we figured we'd do this movie review like we usually do when we go see a movie. And we actually went and saw Star Wars.
Rise of Skywalker. Coming off of Last Jedi.
Alright, just if you haven't seen the movie yet, you gotta be careful because there'll be definitely spoilers here.
Yeah, we're spoiling the movie.
So just we're both very conservative. I think he's more liberal than I am, though.
Probably.
I don't know, but
Just by generations.
yeah, and just to say that this isn't gonna be kid friendly either, because the first thing I'm gonna say is Ryan Johnson is a blowback, and he really fucked up Star Wars. And it took a lot for me to go to this movie. The only reason why I went to this movie is because Alex convinced me to go to the movie, and because he's home on leave, I said, okay, let's do it. How bad can it be? And I was pleasantly surprised. I think all the old Star Wars fans, you got to give it go in there with an open mind, and I think you'll do all right. Believe me, it's not the trash fire that Soy Boy Johnson put together. They actually, J.J. Abrams really tried to repair what got messed up in the past movie.
Yeah, at least that's what it seems like.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it and you're having second thoughts on it, go ahead, go see it. It's not that bad. It has some redeeming qualities to it. If this movie was made right after The Force Awakens, I think it would have been the whole series would have been a little bit more acceptable, opposed to Ryan Johnson's fuck story. I liked it. I did.
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it. Get ready for spoilers, because here they
I
come.
was gonna say, where do we want to start?
We can start now.
Well, like for the movie, what point?
In the movie,
Yeah.
I figure what I liked was keeping the team together.
Instead of
Splitting them up and having them go save the animals and from all the fucking rich people and
yeah, so the different
Rose
so you got
Tico
Poe and fucking Leia with the fleet trying to get away from First Order.
Yeah.
You got Rey trying to get Luke to train her, but he just won't.
that fucking trash fire that Johnson did was horrible. Kathleen Kennedy should have been fucking fired. And it's just awful. But this movie, it wasn't bad. It kept the team together. It brought in some old people. Spoilers big time. You do get to see Luke again. You do get to see Carrie Fisher again, even though it's she's added in from edited material, which was pretty choppy. But
it worked.
It's a movie. It worked. Yeah, it was okay.
It was serviceable.
They bring back Han Solo as a memory. Kylo Ren is still kind of a emo character.
Yeah, he's still emo as shit.
Yeah.
He's better though. He's not as whiny.
No, he's not as whiny, which is good. He's dark, but he's not as whiny as he was in Johnson's Trash Fire.
Yeah.
Rey is actually training with Leia, and I'm glad they put in some backstory of Luke training Leia.
Yeah.
So then Leia is training Rey.
Yeah, which is a thing. That's like I was telling you. So there's canon, so Disney nuked the expanded universe of the Star Wars series, like the expanded novels and the comics, I'm still kind of shaky on what's canon, what's not. Jesus. So, but one of the things that was canon was Luke training Leia, but that's I don't know if it's a novel or a comic book. I think it might be one of the novels that's canon, but that actually is a thing, and they show it in the movie. It's like a quick flashback to them training, because then she starts to train. Leia trains Rey, and it kind of like. The first thing I want to say is the movie's really fast paced. It's trying to catch you up on what JJ wants to do with the movie and where we're going, because it's also the final movie. He's got to wrap this up. It comes full circle. Everybody knows that Palpatine's back. So he has to catch the characters up to speed of what the new threat is. Well, what the threat the whole time was. It was actually Palpatine, which is kind of clever because the prequels. This movie also makes the prequels valid.
Yeah. There's a lot of plot holes, but there was a lot of repairing of the story that Rian Johnson just basically fucking destroyed.
It was just bad.
Yeah.
I was saying, Force Awakens was a pretty blatant rip of A New Hope, but it was kind of like...
I think that was just just to bring new people into it.
Yeah, it was like...
For a younger generation, not for many of us that grew up with the first Star Wars in the 70s, and then the younger generation grew up with, the Phantom Menace and that kind of stuff.
Avenged of the Sith.
Which I actually liked, and I know a lot of people shit on them and said they weren't good, but it put aside, Jar Jar Binks and everything like that, but...
Darth Jar Jar.
Yeah, Darth Jar Jar. But all in all, it wasn't bad. You can't please everybody all the time, but, it is what it is. It's a fantasy, it's a movie. Yeah, there's some shit in there that you just look at and you scratch your head and go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But overall, it wasn't bad at all.
No.
They toned down Rose Tico.
That
poor girl got a lot of shit. And the thing is these actors only go by what the directors give them and their scripts, their screen tests. And I know a lot of the actors get a lot of shit.
But it's what they're given, what they have to work with. You tell Luke to be a fucking, the whole...
Luke's a fucking hermit?
Yeah, so you can even look this up. To the lead up to the premiere of Last Jedi, Mark Hamill goes on interviews and he trashes Brian's take on Luke. And Mark Hamill, say what you will about what you think of the actual actors' personal lives, but we'll take it from the guy. He played Luke 3 times, and it's Luke was hope, the embodiment of a kid going on an adventure, getting away from his past life, being a farmer, not really doing much, and then he goes on this grand adventure and turns into the beacon of hope for the rebellion, defeating the Empire, freeing the galaxy, to the sequel series where he messed up once. He had a slip up and just say, fuck it, I'm a hermit now. Yeah, and it's weird because in Rise of Skywalker...
basically, Rian Johnson said fuck you to all of us. And then Kathleen Kennedy with the female force bullshit. And understand, I have daughters too, and I taught my daughters they could be anything they want. But Kennedy let Johnson do whatever the fuck he wanted. And that's a good name for him, because you call him a Johnson, he is a dick. And...
it was whack.
It was crazy. But I'm telling you, this actually, it was pretty cool. There's a lot of throwbacks. There's a lot of, it's a Hail Mary. It really is a Hail Mary. But
it kind of is.
But I sat there. I had my doubts. I kept my mouth shut. Some of the little kids there were laughing and giggling. And I was afraid to let that wall down because I didn't want to let Johnson's cancer into my fucking soul.
It's true. The Last Jedi was a shit show.
It was. And
it's
awful.
There were a couple scenes that I thought were neat, but out of The Last Jedi, I kind of what if they played more into what would make Luke depressed and feel so defeated. He feels like he can't train or he doesn't want to train anybody. But then it just turns out he just had a slip up, looked into Kylo Ren, see what he would become, and then was gonna kill him. But even then, he's like, "Shit, that's not right."
Mm-hmm.
Instead of righting the wrong, he gets his whole camp destroyed, and of course Kylo kills everyone, and then runs off. And then Luke says, like, "Yeah, no, I'm done." Later, it's like you're supposed to be the beacon of hope, and that's before you went off to Hermitland drinking blue alien milk straight from the titty. It's like, come on.
Yeah, that was.
That's it.
That's all.
One of your students went rogue.
That's
because
Ryan Johnson.
you fucked up and you didn't think you'd go back to him and be like, "Hey man, listen, it's complicated. Don't murder everyone." No, he just said, "I'm good." I actually like.
Yes,
I could see it.
Yeah, they brought Luke back as a Force ghost.
I was gonna say you would have liked.
I like the fact that, I mean, all right, there's some fucking shit in there that you're gonna go like, all right, they find a fucking spaceship in the desert and it works.
Yeah.
They pull up Luke's X-wing out of the ocean and it works. You've got a million fucking star destroyers underneath the sea of this planet, and it's like,
It's not even,
okay, why didn't they just build them in space where they fucking belong?
Yeah.
And it's in a hidden planet, fucking in a
Oh.
galaxy far, far away, and nobody knows where it is. So why are you hiding this huge fucking fleet of star destroyers?
Yeah, I want to know
under the
that
water?
too. They were going over that, how they're gonna get to the Sith planet. By the way, it's a Sith planet. Excuse me. And Palpatine hides the fleet.
Yeah,
new
underwater.
Not even underwater. It's under the planet's crust.
Is it? I thought
Yeah,
it was
it's like
under the ocean.
underground. Yeah, it's like underneath the ground.
That part
they
didn't
built
make
this
sense to me. I
fleet.
was a little baffled by it. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? But, I mean, there are things in this movie where you're going to go like, what the fuck? But if you can put that shit aside and just look at it like you were a kid again and say, okay, I got to give Abrams credit for trying to repair the damage that was done. It
was apparent you missed it. You went to the bathroom, but there's a point where Ray kind of has the same mentality because she's like, "Well, by the way, Ray's a Palpatine." Just saying. So she's destined to be the Empress of the Empire and be the new Sith Lord.
Yeah, she was gonna be.
But then, so she says, "Nah, I'm good." Goes to Luke's planet and just says, "I'm gonna do what you did. I'm gonna just become a hermit." Because then that way, I can't kill everyone. And, so she crashes the ship. And she starts throwing stuff in there. And she throws Luke's lightsaber in the fire. Luke comes out as Force Ghost, catches it. And
I missed all that, huh?
Yeah, no, he comes out as a Force Ghost, catches the lightsaber, and says, don't you think a Jedi's weapon, or lightsaber or something, deserves more respect? And it's funny because Luke did the same. Handed his own lightsaber, he said,
You gotta stop though, you gotta stop, because I think what happened is that's Abrams telling Johnson, you're a dick.
Basically.
And then Luke, you actually, I wish I had seen that, because the way you're explaining it to me and the way I see it from my point of view is that's Luke redeeming his toss-off.
Yeah. He came back.
You know?
Yoda
it was a toss-off. It was a Johnson toss-off.
Yeah. He just said, yeah, whatever.
And
Luke
right.
comes back.
And the thing is that if you think about it, it's redeeming. Well, I have to go. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. No, you can keep doing it.
Oh, alright. Well, he's off. I'll try to keep y'all entertained. Shit, what was he talking about? So the way he's saying is it's the directors feuding. I just saw it simply as, think about it, in Last Jedi, Luke feels defeated. He can't come back. He refuses to train Rey because he sees the immense power in her, and it's too dangerous. Which you can say what you will. I've seen enough videos on Last Jedi. I really don't need to reiterate much. And then there's gonna be a shitstorm of videos coming on this one, which kind of happily waiting. I want to see what people say about it. If there's anything I missed, the pros and the cons. Point being with Luke is Yoda tells him failure is a Jedi's greatest teacher, and I forget how he took that. He's just kind of like, all right, whatever. In the Last Jedi, he comes back to not Hoth, and as a Force ghost, I would have rather him physically be there to fight. I think I've seen a video explaining like that. It was kind of the Jedi way. It was more the idea that he shows up to face his apprentice and like nephew, and buy the rebellion some time to get out. So he comes back all triumphantly. He has his last hurrah. He uses all of his energy into this one act on not Hoth. Becomes one with the Force, and then he comes back when Rey's like, yeah, deuces, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't want to become a Sith Lord, so I just won't bother. And he comes out of the fire with the saber. And it definitely felt like Luke is back. At least as an audience member, as a casual viewer, casual, whatever. That's what it felt like. JJ or whoever the screenwriters were like, yeah, Luke is supposed to be a beacon of hope, and he tells Rey, I was wrong. I was wrong to think this. You are the last hope. You're also not alone. Like, the rest of the Jedi live in you. And Palpatine ends up mirroring that, saying that because he's the last Sith Lord, all the Sith live in him during their